The fight over duck hunting on Victoria's wetlands has raged for decades, often leading to heated clashes between protesters and shooters. This year's hunting season opened 11 days ago, but on Friday, activists had a small win with the closure of a vast wetland in Victoria's north. 7:30 can tonight show footage of suspect behaviour by some of the shooters. Lauren Day reports, and a warning, this story contains graphic images.
A bird's-eye view of a battleground. For decades, duck hunters and activists have fought over this reserve in Victoria's north. But on Friday, the guns fell silent.
The GMA had decided to close this particular wetlands, the Bale Bale, Little Bale Bale, and the wetlands that's collectively known as the marshes. And I think it's just sort of too little, too late, really. There's not many birds left out here after the weekend.
So where are you taking us, Luke?
Just down to the pits where we initially found the birds.
Days after the opening of the season, the Coalition Against Duck Shooting says they found 2 pits containing almost 200 whole game birds, which they say suggests some hunters are shooting above their 10-bird limit. This footage appears to show the moment they dug up their grim find.
Teal, hardhead. Teal, hardhead.
Wood duck.
Teal.
Wood duck. Whole.
They're all whole. Pinky. It's a travesty.
About 3 metres this way, we found the second pit.
And how many birds were in here?
This one had 120.
Wow, you can still smell it.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
There's definitely going to be those accusations when people see this footage that this was a stunt by the activists to try to close down the industry. How will you respond to that?
I just know the truth, so I just try to ignore it, really.
It is obviously a very vast wetland, though. How did you, narrow in on this particular area? People will say that that's a bit of a coincidence that you managed to find these pits.
Well, we were checking the shoreline on this side because the wind was blowing this way, so we often find lots of protected and game species that have been shot dead, washing up on the shore where the wind's blowing, and also wounded birds as well. Just try to get to shore to get the weight off their body because they're full of bullets.
The protesters also have footage captured during the opening weekend showing hunters appearing to wound birds and then fail to put them out of their misery quickly. In one video, a hunter appears to try to break the neck of a downed bird, but while it's seemingly still flapping, drops it in the water to take further shots at other birds. 7:30 showed the Game Management Authority the footage. A lot of people, as you said, will find that footage confronting. Is that just the reality of what hunting looks like?
Yeah, well, I think it is, particularly for people particularly sensitive to animal welfare issues, particularly for non-meat eating people who may be vegetarian, for example, and don't like the issue of meat, either hunted meat or processed meat. It's the death of animals is never pretty under any circumstances. I don't particularly see here anything really critically cruel, other than, of course, it's not pleasant to watch animals die for anyone. Yeah.
On Friday, the authority closed wetlands in the state's north after the killing of around 100 threatened birds, as well as uncounted numbers of birds left wounded to die slowly on the water.
Trying to deal with the protester activity at the same time as trying to enforce the compliance and regulations for the hunters, with 120, I think, estimated protesters and 2,000 shooters in the early light of the morning in a wet and heavily vegetated and difficult environment. So it was a difficult operation, I think, for everybody involved in it.
Sounds like chaos.
Well, the result looks like there was some chaos involved, certainly.
The authorities' Brian Hine also reviewed the footage of the buried birds.
They're all whole.
While burying whole ducks is not illegal, killing more than 10 per day is a breach of the regulations.
Look, it's possible there were a number of hunters there who shot their legal entitlement of birds who don't value the bird and don't value the meat and then buried them. That's a likelihood as well. It's also a likelihood that they have potentially shot their 10 birds on the day, their legal bag limit, and these birds have been above their bag limits. I'm not saying it's not a possibility that could be the case. We don't know.
The body representing duck shooters, Field and Game Australia, told us it hadn't heard of any shooters exceeding the 10-bird bag limit. In a statement, it said it condemned the irresponsible and illegal hunting which happened at Karangi and that it had tarnished the entire hunting community. The Game Management Authority is reviewing the licensing arrangements for duck hunters and considering implementing more testing for identifying bird species and marksmanship.
They're nothing but rubbish in a garbage bag.
As activists continue to pull out dead and injured birds from the water, they want more.
Full closure of the duck shooting season, just for it not to happen. It's just outdated. It's a barbaric and brutal thing that happens on our wetlands, and yeah, it's just devastation to the native water birds as well.
How likely do you think it is that the duck season will ever, be shut down for good?
Oh, well, fingers crossed. If they keep acting like this, it shouldn't be too long, really. They're really shooting themselves in the foot, so to speak.
It's totally unacceptable practice. It's really critical, and most hunters in Victoria, the majority of hunters certainly would agree, that ethically that is totally unacceptable behaviour. Our responsibility as a Game Management Authority is to ensure that hunting in Victoria remains sustainable and responsible, and this indicates clearly neither.